want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi, BAHASHAM, for HaKadosh, double honor to the apostles and elders at Greatmillstone, taught this truth of the world. Peace and salutations unto the shepherds that feed the sheep of the Heavenly Father Yahawah, and the only begotten Son, who the Word in called Jesus Christ, who will name the He who is Yahawashi, which means He to deliver, or He delivers, is coming to deliver the predestined elect of the nation of Israel, which are the 12 tribes, which consist of so-called Negroes, West Indian Haitians, Hispanic, Latinos, Native Seminole Indians, and Mexicans, and also those who are scattered across the four winds of the earth. Okay, they have mixed complexions, mixed features, speak different tongues, because of the many diasporas that our people have gone through as Israelites. Okay, and also those who may look like another nation or another heathen nation, but the spirit and bloodline goes back to those 12. So to the sincere Akim, who believe in this truth and this thing, and sincere Akim, the very, very few that do listen, which are sisters, okay, to you, it's a Shalom. This is a real quick video going into what took place, CBDCs and the FedNow app, okay. As we've warned for years, okay, preparing, the hearts of the hopefully lit, for the day that they usher in the M.A.R.K to the world, the hour of temptation. As we've said, prophesying that there will come a time where they will usher in a new system, okay. We knew that it would take two major steps, okay. Everything is going digital into the CBDCs, okay. Well, 1 foot just went live, for lack of a better word, yesterday or 2 days ago here in the U.S., okay, which you've been hearing a whole lot this year, and especially last year, about what this FedNow app, okay, this FedNow system, okay. Now it went live 2 days ago, okay. So the M.A.R, the M to the A to the R to the K, the micro C hip is the final step before this thing becomes official, okay. The first step just went live, okay. So we're in that time. We don't have too long left. We don't have too long, okay, before things, really transpire, in these last days, and this being one of them, okay. As this happens, the war escalating overseas in Ukraine, war escalating in Iran, okay. Them pretty much suspending, I guess, on the Russian side, because remember the bankers, they control both sides still, even though they're losing power. They suspended the grain deal for the world, and they were saying that I think last year that most of the grains that the world receives comes from the Ukraine, or through the Ukraine, okay, from those two countries, Russia and Ukraine. So, these elites, through the spirit of the Lord in the left hand, they're not stopping for anybody. They're going forward with this thing, as we can see. And that move with the suspension of the plan, to pretty well move forth grains throughout the world, this pushed the world even closer to famine. It made it that much more believable, okay. So I just want to show you this video real quick. What's been happening with this whole FedNow thing, okay. So let me play this. It's lucky you ever see me, in about 2 weeks or whatnot. I've been dealing with certain things other than my channel being receiving a strike. So I'm back, So prepare to be edified even more. All right. continue to be edified. All right. So let me play this video.
With this, this is Dabu 7, and it begins. FedGov launches, and this is a platform that they'll be reaching out to everyday Americans that lean on the government for support, and they'll be saying, hey, you need to do this or you need to do that if you want to get any more benefits from us from here. A lot of this is going to tie into downloading digital wallets. It's just going to be some new app or some new wallet that someone's going to download, since they used crypto to get everyone softened up to all this. And no, this is not the CBDC. We've known that the whole time. Well, they're gaslighting people by coming out and saying, this is not the CBDC. It has no connection to it, which it doesn't at the moment, because the CBDC is not launched and it's not full-fledged. But this is the ledger tracking system that will track and it will record every single transaction that happens. Okay? All over the place. Anything and everything that you do. So when they start to issue people these wallets, or you got a card that's got EBT on it per se, everything that you buy off that, every transaction will be logged on blockchain. This has been the warning about a CBDC the whole time, doing away with your privacy. This is why you want something you can hold in your hand, and you don't want a digital anything. You want something you can trade with, you can buy with, at a flea market, hand to hand, not having to have a phone or have technology, because they will want to tax every single move you make. And that is what has just begun. So, they're going to soften people up by saying, oh, you need extra food stamps this month? Just download this wallet, we'll make sure to get it over to you. And the people won't think nothing of it. They will download these apps and these wallets, and it will begin en masse, just this quickly, this quietly. And they're right. It's not a CBDC, and no one ever said that it was. Okay? They're gaslighting the people by trying to get you to say, oh, it's not the CBDC. Everything's okay. And the sheep can go back to work, turn their cheek, and go the other way. No, that's not the case. This carries the same warning as CBDC has the entire time. That, poof, bye-bye, goes all your privacy, all your freedom with this whole system. That is the warning, and it begins now. I warned you about this for years on end. So don't get caught up in the smoke screen, in the small bickering that they create, the little illusions, and arguing over if this is a CBDC or not. No one ever said that it was, and I've aired this out time and time again on my live stream. This is the ledger. This is the platform in which all the stuff gets launched off of. And you just watch in time, because it's all going to digital. It too will be on top of this, hand in hand. So, Big Brother tracking everything here, and they are recording every single transaction and putting it on record. Everyone, off of everything, everywhere. So that you know, I'm going to break this down further on the next live stream. I hope you join me there Monday and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Break this down further on this whole Big Brother watching over us 24/7 and more. Much love.
All right, you heard it there first from Double 7. Okay, now it was out that the WEF very recently just said that in order for you to function in their new world, in their new society, you will have to do something, you know, which will merge their CBDC technology, you know, into your flesh. Okay, you have to merge biology and technology, as he's been warning you, as the Lord has prophesied. Okay. Showed the vision to John the Revelator. It's coming to pass. All right. There's no such thing as free will. All right. And I'm gonna read this real quick, and it's gonna go straight into it. It mentions the scriptures and all of it. You know, Revelation 13 and 16. Okay, now this is LifeSite News, which is plenty of articles on it. It's about a week old. Okay, going into what the WEF just mentioned not too long ago. Now it says, I'm gonna read this for you. Try to be quick. It says top economists, right? Central bankers are planning CBDC currency, implants under your skin. Okay, what that sound like? And he's gonna mention it. The scriptures, the prophecy, 13 and 16. Okay, now it says a central banker reportedly told economist Richard Warner there are plans to issue CBDCs that look like a small grain of rice to be placed under the skin. Right, this is a real person, all right? And it says a prominent German economist says central banks plan to concretize central bank digital currencies in the form of micro C-hips placed under the skin, a technology that will enable absolute government control over personal finances. And it's not a secret, it's not a theory. Okay, they've come out themselves, a collection of individuals who haven't been voted in, who has the authority and power over all your governments. Okay? And this is all played. This is why when you read the scriptures, when it goes into Lucifer, okay, the light bearers, okay, that's the left hand side of the Lord. That's who's the WEF, works for. That's who they are. Okay, they're another lesser tier, other than the banking elites and the Roman Catholic establishment, etc. Okay, they're the voices, okay, of those individuals. Okay, and it says, I was taught by a central banker that the CBDCs look like a small grain of rice that they want to put under the skin, said Professor Warner, who devised the now widely used and, according to Warner, abused bank practice of quantitative easing in a recent interview with Ivor Cummins. Okay, you got videos here, so you can go and watch it yourself. This is a real thing. It says CBDCs, in contrast with other forms of digital currency used today, requires that individuals open bank accounts directly with central banks such as Federal Reserve, giving governments control over citizens' access to money. So you have to think of CBDCs as a control system or a permit system, not a currency. That's exactly what it is. It says warning things will be rationed out to you, all right? Like they show you in these dystopian movies, okay? And they'll be based on a social credit score, what you've done, before and what you're doing now, right? And that's how this is where the FedNow system, plays its role, before they make this CBDC mandatory, okay? And it says, Werner explained, added that the level of control would be such that our money will no longer be truly our own. Right? It's not our own anyway. Okay? As soon as you got a birth certificate and a social security number, you're a slave to the bankers anyway. That's why they going into one of my coworkers going into the whole straw man thing on how your number was floating somewhere. That have millions upon millions of dollars behind your name, okay, how much you're worth and how much your number has grossed throughout the years since you've been born, okay, that these banks use, that just gathers interest upon interest, okay, and usually people who find out about that, they jail them, okay, and put some sort of federal charges on those individuals because they found out that loophole, which is the truth. Okay, but we're all servant slaves, and that's what employee means, okay, to this system. Okay, in Babylon the Great and across the world, okay, with their central banks. It says, Warner, who shared that he has spent time at various central banks, believes such implanted CBDCs are a violation of human dignity, adding that central bankers realize the common opinion among the masses is unheard of. Right? They know there's going to be a lot of resistance, which is happening now with these banks. You've been hearing are being set on fire across the world, but there's a media block on it, okay, because they're going through it. A lot of them have already joined into you know, that whole BRICS nation and the what's that name? And BlackRock, okay. And then CBD's over there. They're gonna be the heads, which is the new system, okay, under the I think the Rothschilds directly, okay. I think their name is on it, okay. And the U.S. is pretty much in last place, all right. And they're gonna try to start their new world, you know, with pretty much their spearhead, which they've been using for their new world, you know, as the tail this time around. Okay, but that's not according to prophecy. Okay, that's not gonna happen. Now it says they say the World War III was stopped before that happened. It says they say there's a problem of trust because people suspect that governments, central banks, are just trying to roll this out in order to monitor and control and restrict transactions. They're absolutely right. And Warner said, adding that this is the true attraction for central planners to this powerful technology. According to Warner, in the initial phase, CBDCs will be introduced through phone-based apps, right, as other forms of digital currency are currently used, which is the FedNow app. So why hasn't it been rolled out yet? Since there's no actual need for it, that need has to be created. Okay, people have to be, you know, forced or pushed into a corner, you know, or something very catastrophic will have to happen in order for them to push it to make it believable. And I might cut it here because I might upload it on my channel. The elder brother in Los Angeles, you know, GMS Mawatasak on GAD 2, that's his channel, and he was going into something heavy about how they're going to try to link, you know, these CBDCs or this implanted, you know, device with what's going on with that movie that was just released, the Sound of Freedom. You know, all this controversy and media blackout on it. Okay, so and Trump is going to play a major role. Right, he's going to be a major player in this thing. So I might leave a link on my video to that brother's video because it's extremely heavy, man. Extremely heavy. It's going to be a psyop that's going to fuck people up like we've never seen before. Okay, if they don't know. All right. So let me continue on. It says, he further predicted that central banks will use a carrot and stick approach to persuade people to adopt CBDCs under the skin, starting with generated economic crises. See, is going to be created that will induce a demand for universal basic income, which I'll say before, UBI. Okay, and it says, I just want to finish it. It says, Warner speculated that banks will claim that they need the latest technology, CBDC, you know, CHIP, you know, implant in order to run the UBI efficiently. He pointed out that the bankers have deliberately delayed their agenda, and since the technology needed for launch was ready, since about 2015, yeah. Exactly right. I remember when brothers going in heavy on the whole, you know, RFID technology at that time. Okay, me as well. All right, but like I said, the Lord, you know, through, you know, monkey wrenches in this plan. Okay, because this is not according to their time; it's according to the Lord's time. All right, and when they do this, this is the final countdown to what their destruction. Okay, when their kingdom is destroyed by our Lord Yahawashi. Okay, whom the word ignorantly called Jesus Christ, to take the wicked out of power, Lucifer. You know, how thou art fallen from heaven. All right. So it says the professor believes the COVID Salaki, I didn't mean to say that, the C.O. V19, you know, which provided a pretext for the imposition of V passports, was one important step toward their goal of implanted CBDCs. Such CBDCs will allow for the denial of access to goods and services according to government mandate compliance, as was enforced around the world, while, you know, CV was viral. Okay, let me just try to skip this here. Okay, it says, likewise, former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Housing Catherine Austin Fitts revealed that measures being implemented under the cover of the C-19 lay the foundation for a new global central banking machine and a technocratic regulatory and economic model that permits far greater central control. She stated that a digital surveillance and a social credit system will enable the central bank control credit to be adjusted or turned off on an individual basis, right? Like I mentioned before. Okay, so I don't have to read anymore. I think I'll make the point. You can read the rest of it yourself. So I just want to edify the body. Okay, what's going on? If you haven't heard, okay, the FedNow app, that first step, it went live about a day or two ago. Now we're just waiting for the last step to make this CBDC mandatory, okay? And some sort of event or multitude of events to take place, for them to push this thing to make it believable, right? For the masses to be deceived, especially here in Babylon the Great, here in America, to accept this thing. Because there's a big ploy out there that they getting ready to play with the emotions of the people, okay, here and abroad, the UK, etc., to accept this thing. Okay, like I said, I'm gonna put the link in my video, or I may even re-upload the video on my channel. So, hope this video was edifying to the elect. Till next time, shalom. Yahawashi, Yahawashi, Till next time, shalom. To the elect.